way.
Force.
Force.
The Force will be with you. Always.
Welcome to Star Wars Uplink, your source for everything Star Wars gaming. Each week, your host will go over the news, updates, and more that have been happening in the galaxy far, far away. Come join us and our community of like-minded fans as we dive deeper into Star Wars games, past, present, and future, Star Wars lore, and the new shows and movies as they get announced and released. Welcome to Star Wars Uplink. I'm your host, Sage Goodwin, and as always, I'm joined by Sydney Laurel. How are you doing?
Hello.
This episode, we are going to be talking all about Obi-Wan Kenobi, the teaser trailer that we have. So that's what this entire episode's going to be, just talking about the teaser trailer, because we're so hyped about it. We can fill the whole episode. So let's jump right in.
Just you reconsider playing that message for him.
So the first thing that we're going to do in this episode, we're going to talk about and break down our thoughts on the trailer, or break down the trailer itself, and then we're going to take a break, and then we'll jump in and talk about our expectations, our thoughts around it, deeper dives into specific sections, what we like, what we don't like, all that stuff. But first off, it's so good to have John Williams and Obi-Wan back.
Mm-hmm. Yes. That was like the first thing I said when we were rewatching it. We're just like, oh, yes, I'm so happy to hear that music again.
Yes, like, people we know and their themes.
Oh, so good.
It's such a great level of just familiarity and almost home.
Yes. Yeah, really, truly. Yep.
So I think that's, at least for both of us, I know for myself, 100% is I love the vibe of the original trilogy. That is Star Wars for me, is the original trilogy. I love it so much. It's fantastic. It's just got that great vibe that I love so much, and that's what I think of when I think Star Wars. Yeah.
Yeah, for myself, I would say, well, even though I watched the original trilogy first, what is that? Is that the sequels? Like the true sequels?
The original trilogy.
Yeah.
A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back.
Yes, with Luke and all that. Yeah, so even though I watched those first, I feel like my childhood was mostly based on the prequels. Those, like, that's where Star Wars truly resides within me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because you're 3 years older than me. But you caught it at that like prime time.
Yep. I mean, I was pretty young when we watched the original trilogy. So it didn't quite have the same impact.
Yeah, and then A New Hope or Phantom Menace came out when you were 4.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I didn't watch it when I was 4. I might have watched the original trilogy.
Yeah.
When I was 4, but no, the other ones came out when I was in like grade. Well, I watched them when I was in like grade 1 or so.
Yeah,
it just hit me right in that sweet spot where it was, and my other sister was also really into it, so we were just those were the 3 movies that really got us going on Star Wars. So it's so nice to see all this again. It's like, oh my god, my internal younger self is screaming and like fangirling and all that. So
yeah. And I think too, like, they didn't know how well they landed when they got Ewan McGregor to play Obi-Wan. Like, they did not realize the acting chops and how great he is and as beloved as he is as that character.
Oh my gosh.
He looks so great.
Yeah, can we just comment on how beautiful he is?
I know, right? I shared on Twitter. I was like, clean up on aisle 3.
Oh no. I can't blame you though. I'm over here on aisle 5, so
It is so great.
Oh my
gosh.
Great.
So let's break it down.
Yeah.
What the trailer is it's a teaser, so it's not the full trailer, but I think it lands in such a great spot, and I hope that the official trailer doesn't go any more detail really in it, because I'm intrigued. We see the place that Obi-Wan is in. We see the settings. We see the characters. that he's going to be interacting with. We see the bad guys and we see him. Something that I do want to point out is it seems like this trailer is, or this show is going in the direction of basically Fallen Order.
How so?
Because Cal Kestis is, it's all set after Order 66. He's in hiding. He's on this remote planet. He's trying to hide his abilities. And then he's going to be put into a place where he's going to have to show that he is Force sensitive. And he's going to be in a situation where he eventually has to light his lightsaber, use the Force, and boom. Oh my gosh, the Inquisitors show up.
Yeah.
Like, am I describing Obi-Wan Kenobi or am I describing the Force or Jedi Fallen Order? Who knows?
Yeah.
It could be either.
Yeah.
Because the big bads for the show, so it seems, I hope that it also gets into like the character development of Obi-Wan, where also one of the bad guys he has to overcome is himself. Because in interviews, he has described the character as broken, unsure of where he is in the galaxy, and unsure of what to do. I mean, he's got the task of protecting Luke.
Right.
But we see Luke in there, and he's maybe 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So he's been doing this for a little while. While the Galactic Empire is
and honestly,
kind of rebuilding.
Doesn't it kind of seem like...
Or building itself, yeah.
Usually the best thing you can do is just step way far away from these kids. Like the moment he realizes that, oh man, they're hunting me, suddenly you're putting Luke in a lot more danger if you were just not even there, you know?
I wonder too if they are even hunting him.
It sounds like it.
You think so?
Because the guy says, where is he? I'm assuming that means Obi-Wan. That is an assumption though, so who knows?
I've also heard it theorized that it could possibly be Mace Windu.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah. But
I think it'd be cool. I mean, I'd be all down for that.
Bring them all back.
Yeah. So maybe I think your theory of that they are looking for Obi-Wan is pretty true, because I'm not as well versed on that particular aspect or area of Obi-Wan's life in Legends, because I don't know how much we have of it. I'm going to do some research because I may write a short on that, because that'd be interesting. Just me personally, I'd like to know that.
You need to write that down.
Exactly. I've got the podcast.
Oh, there you go.
I'll be editing this and I can write it down then. Because we know at least that Obi-Wan is talking with Yoda at the end of the prequels.
Right.
And he has been talking to an old friend of Obi-Wan's, a.k.a. Qui-Gon, about becoming a Force ghost.
Yep.
So I wonder where in this life cycle that is. I would assume that he's gone through that training and has gone through that process already.
Yeah.
Maybe Qui-Gon comes in every now and then. It's like, yo, bro, what's up? How's it been?
Just making sure you're still sane. Hi. Ghost is visiting you.
But yeah, I mean, just imagine that Obi-Wan is in this place where he has been on Tatooine for a while. The Empire is rising. The rise of the Inquisitors is happening. We have this really volatile time frame for the galaxy. He has this mission that is critical to him, and it's critical to the galaxy itself for its saving. But he's also fighting that urge of, but the galaxy's hurting.
Yeah.
Do I have to keep on hiding here, but also do I have to?
He's got an itch.
Yeah, he's got that itch.
He's got to scratch it.
We also see...
Can't help it.
Exactly. we see the Grand Inquisitor, but we're going to talk about that later.
Are we?
I mean, we can talk about it now.
Continue with your thought, though.
We see the Grand Inquisitors, but we also see what I'm super excited about. I mean, we've seen Tatooine in Mando. We've seen Tatooine, a lot of Tatooine in Book of Boba Fett. We've seen it quite a bit, and I'm glad that it is not only going to be focused on Tatooine. We do get, hopefully, I've gotten to the point where I hate flashbacks.
Really?
Like, it takes away from the story that they're telling in a way that I don't think is valuable, and I think it's overused, at least in the show so far. It was definitely overused in Boba Fett.
Yeah.
So I hope that those scenes that we see in I've heard discussion, and the more I watch it, the more it looks like Nar Shaddaa rather than Coruscant.
Where is that? Have we seen that place before?
We have, I think. My knowledge of Nar Shaddaa's base level, I'm going to recommend all of us to look it up after this podcast or while you're listening to this podcast. Because I don't know, but it is a very similar type of planet. I think it's in SWTOR.
Dang it. We should have been playing so we could be walking around there and figuring it out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is in SWTOR. But I just am so glad
that we're actually getting a different planet.
Yeah, that we're actually getting a different planet.
I think we're all really tired of sand planets. So seeing that there is kind of an urban space that we're going to be adventuring in, like looking at, and it feels like a lot of the Inquisitor stuff is.
I do know Nar Shaddaa.
Oh, do you?
I had forgotten. I wrote a short about the origins of the Hutts.
Oh.
So, according to Wikipedia, Nar Shaddaa, nicknamed the Smuggler'S Moon, was the notorious moon of the planet Nal Hutta, homeworld of the Hutt species. It was home to a large criminal underworld dominated by bounty hunters and Hutt crime lords. A Eucanopolis, which means the entire planet is a city, which, according to legends, there's two different stories for Nar Shaddaa or Nal Hutta. Where on one of the stories it was a swampy planet, and then on the other it's this Eucanopolis, which is the entire city. But in the Eucanopolis one, it originally was a swampy planet that they had just colonized and built on top of. Basically imagine Coruscant, but it's only the deeper underworld levels.
Nice.
And that's the entire planet.
Cool.
So that's all that's speaking my language. I love that vibe.
Yep.
I love that cyberpunk-esque feel of it. I think it's fantastic.
Cyberpunk meets Star Wars.
Exactly. Oh, I love it when that happens.
Oh, it's gonna be so good.
So hopefully it's like, as it happens, to protect Luke, he has to abandon Luke. I think that's a fun that's a fun storyline there.
I think that's kind of how it's gonna go. But anyway, the teaser trailer.
Yeah, I mean, I think too, like, I think what's so great, and I think what the show is going to do very well, is it's honoring the video games, at least in terms of Fallen Order, but it's also honoring Rebels a lot.
Yeah.
So I need to step up my game and finish Rebels.
Is that what we're watching next?
I think we're going to have to.
Just watch that and then get into the whole...
What we should do is we should watch the original trilogy, or we should watch Rebels, then the original trilogy, and then we go back to the prequels. So somewhat of at least original release order, but leading up to original release order. So we have to watch Rebels, we have to watch Solo, and we have to watch Rogue One.
Right.
And then we watch the original trilogy. And then we'll hop back. This will be much more digestible than going through the entirety of the prequels, the Clone Wars, and then we get to Rebels.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's honoring that, and I think what's going to be so great is there's going to be a lot more people that are aware of the Inquisitors, that they may even take the next step of watching Rebels or watching these other, playing the games.
Yeah.
Because... let's just say you're someone. This is what's so great about the live action Star Wars shows, is they're reaching a new audience. I know a friend of mine. He didn't watch Clone Wars, and I was asking. I was like, "Hey, did you watch Clone Wars?" He's like, "No." I was like, "What did you think of Cad Bane?" He's like, "He's pretty cool. I didn't really understand fully like what was the importance of it, because it seemed like he was a big deal." It's like, yeah, he's pretty big in Clone Wars. He's a really awesome character. He's like, yeah, well, I didn't really get the vibe from him that, like, he didn't really do a whole lot for me there.
Yep. It's
So
like they relied on his name alone to just be like, just to do fan service or something, but there was nothing.
Yeah, that's the balance that they're going to have to strike, because so many people, I mean, I know of the Inquisitors from... The Force, or I know it from Fallen Order mainly. Like that was my big exposure to it.
Interesting.
Before even like Rebels.
Yeah, because
I didn't get to that point in Rebels.
Right. Yeah, Rebels is where I found out
really
about them.
go.
Yeah, they go whole hog about them.
So that was my exposure to it, and now obviously after that, I've gotten more exposure to it just by doing research for the shorts that we do. But my goodness. There's going to be a lot more people that are asking those questions, like, who are these people? Why should I care? So I think they need to strike that balance as well.
I could fairly easily see them just give the whole story and just be like, oh, yeah, this is who they are, blah, 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 blah. Like,
but I hope they don't at the same time.
I hope so. I hope it's just kind of a mystery that everyone's like, okay, but no, who are these people? Yeah, like you were saying. So
I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yes, hopefully.
I think it's exciting. It's going to be, the amount of discussions that we're going to be having around this show are going to be really cool. Yeah. It's also a limited series, so it's probably going to be 6 to 8 episodes, somewhere around that range. I think it's going to be more towards the 6 episode range.
Is that because they want more seasons, or is that like why?
I'm not entirely sure. I think they want to focus more on the Mandalorian time frame going forward, but there's so much hype around this that
they need to put something out.
Also, I'm so glad that John Williams is scoring this.
I didn't realize that. So hearing that,
which is why the music's so great, not weird like Mandalorian and Boba Fett.
Especially Boba Fett. Thank goodness. That does my heart good.
Right.
I'm
like
excited.
This dude's 90 something.
But he still got it. Well, and he's really the only guy who can do that. I mean, everyone else is like, I'd really rather not touch what he would do, like what he can do.
That's why I think Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian is so weird with its music, is because they were terrified. If you go hardcore, like you have to do something like Gordy Habb does. Gordy Habb, incredible composer, and he has captured the art of John Williams, what makes John Williams so great. And he's implemented that. First, kind of like learning the backstory through Battlefront 2015 and then composing the score. Basically, what he learned from Battlefront 2015, he utilized in Battlefront 2 in developing that score. And then going into Jedi Fallen Order, which, oh my gosh, Jedi Fallen Order music is better than, like, it's better than some of John Williams' stuff, honestly. Like, maybe a controversial opinion. But, like, that opening music for Jedi Fallen Order, oh my gosh. Like, there hasn't been a point in all of the other stuff that they've done where I've gotten so invested in the score as I have with, like, Gordy Habb stuff. So that's my Gordy Habb nerd out section. We should get him on the podcast again. Love Gordy Habb. Like, he's such a great guy.
I would love to hear his thoughts on the Mandalorian theme, like music and the.
Oh, that'd be great.
That would be really fascinating, just to hear what he would have to say.
I may reach out to him and see.
Do it, because I want to know. I want to know.
That'd be so great. I would love to just talk Star Wars stuff with him. Like, what do you think about this music? Like, from your perspective. Like, that'd be so great. Now let's take a little bit of a break, and we'll be back with our deeper dives, our thoughts on where the show could go, as well as some of the stuff we like and we don't like.
This podcast is a production of Uplink Media Group. Uplink is a podcast network dedicated to highlighting the love and experience of gaming and pop culture. Check out our other shows, The Battlefield Show, Star Wars Uplink, and The Forge, the Halo Infinite podcast, as well as our YouTube channels for even deeper dives into Battlefield, Star Wars, and more. YouTube.com/Uplink podcast and StarWarsUplink.com.
Only different in your mind. You must unlearn what you have learned.
Okay, so we touched on it a little bit in that last section about where we think it will go. Do you think that there are going to be any flashbacks?
I hadn't really thought about it. I could definitely see there being flashbacks, but not in the character building way. Like, it would just be in, like, past trauma or something, that, like, just remembering what happened. just to be more clear for audiences that may be new to Star Wars, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I think that would be a good usage of it, like flashbacks to maybe what has happened.
Order 66 and stuff.
Yo, they've got to show Order 66.
They have to,
right? Like they have to.
They can't not, right? I mean, come on. Yeah. That's kind of why he's here.
They showed Order 66 in Book of Boba Fett. Mm-hmm. Which is really weird to think about.
Wait, they did?
Right?
Oh, why? What in the world? Okay, we're not talking about Book of Boba Fett right now. We're not going into that.
Yeah. So I think that is a very good point that they will use it in that way, and I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think I would rather them allude to it versus actually outright saying it.
Same.
Because we don't need that.
Yeah.
We don't need that hand-holding. We all have seen Order 66 100 million times at this point. Mm-hmm. We know what happened. I think it'd be more impactful to see how it affected him versus what actually happened to him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, as long as it is done in a way that it shows his mindset and where he's at now. Mm-hmm.
But I think it'd be more valuable to do that in the moment versus a flashback, because if it's in the moment, we have more of a connection to him in his current state versus him in the past state.
Yeah.
Because then that's also alluding to how little or how too much he's changed. Mm-hmm. If we know all of the details,
right,
we can draw those lines a little bit clearer.
Yeah, I honestly, I could really do without the flashbacks because I just want to be with Obi-Wan in the moment.
Yeah, especially since it's a limited run series. We don't need flashbacks.
Please don't fill our time with stuff we've already seen.
Exactly.
Give us some new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Just let me have my hand held by Daddy Obi-Wan Kenobi and let me just walk on through because that's all I want.
Daddy Wan.
Yeah.
Changing things up a little bit. Mm-hmm. What did you think of the Grand Inquisitor?
The Grand Inquisitor.
Little bald round boy.
Yeah.
It's a 1.
Yes.
I want to say something nice about it.
Good.
I like that they're trying to go more practical with most of their effects.
Yep.
I think that's good.
Yep.
But I think they aren't taking the next step. They're like, oh, we're going to do it practical. Yeah, but you also have to make sure it honors what one has been in the past. You know the snivelly guy that looks like his teeth are made out of wood?
Yeah.
That General Grievous talks to? They are the same species.
Oh my gosh.
So we see the same species in Star Wars, and they look drastically different.
They do.
Twi'leks look the exact same no matter what.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That changes
the perspective,
that
right?
does, yeah. Because it's okay, if you've already done something before in the canon, in filmmaking, in all of this, why can it not be replicated?
Yeah. I just a little bit more effort, and I think it would have been great. Because basically what they did is they put a bald cap on him, added some texture, and added the markings that he has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny because the first time I saw the teaser, I knew I recognized him, but I couldn't place it.
My first reaction, it was so funny. It was
wait,
oh.
I know this guy. I mean, I know I'm supposed to know who this is, but I don't know who this is because he doesn't look anything like him.
That was my thing. I was like, I think he's the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah, it wasn't until the lightsaber shot that I was like, oh wait. No, I know. That's sad.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous that the lightsaber is what makes me realize who he is instead of just how he looks.
Exactly.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
It's almost the Cad Bane thing.
Yeah.
Where it's there's just something about it that makes me uncomfortable because it's not alien enough. You know? I don't know.
Close. Not quite hitting the mark. Mm-hmm. Also, it's Jason Isaacs, I think. He plays Mr. Malfoy in Harry Potter. He plays the voice of him in Rebels. Does a fantastic job. I think he nails the menacing intelligence of the Grand Inquisitor very well. They recast him completely.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it until this most recent watch through. And I was like, oh, his voice.
Yeah.
They did this with Master Chief. With the new show. I'm getting very heavy Master Chief vibes.
How do you recast Master Chief's voice?
You shouldn't.
Yeah.
That's the answer to that question.
That's bad.
And I think I'm getting similar vibes to that because I don't feel any menace from him. Every time I see him, I'm like, he looks stupid.
Oh no.
And that's not good.
Yeah.
That's not going to be great.
If you're already coming into that with this like, yeah, you're just a little phony guy, you know, like that's not good. Yeah, no, I definitely noticed the voice. I noticed, and not just the voice, but how he spoke. It's weird.
It's forced.
It's choppy, and it's not. It's almost like he's trying to be menacing, but it's not working. Like someone didn't go up to him and be like, okay, no, that's not working. He just went along with whatever he was doing, and it's like, it's not working.
It's like if I talk like this all the time.
It's not quite that bad, but it's still.
But it's that dichotomy of this is something I know already intrinsically of how this character is supposed to be like, and they have forced a person who does not have that in them to try to replicate it.
At least the Cad Bane guy tried.
Yeah, I think they did a good job. And like we went through a very nitpicky section of the podcast, and listening back to it was like, man, we did only focus on the negative stuff. But like Cad Bane, I think they did a fantastic job of like we had minor thoughts and changes that we would like to see. But overall, I think they did a really good job. This, on the other hand, I don't see many redeeming qualities of. Yeah. Just the fact that he is in there. I like that the character is in there. I don't necessarily like the implementation of that character.
Yeah. I do want to say, though, I am kind of excited to see what this lady Inquisitor.
I'm super excited to see her, too.
She seems tank, and it's like, oh my gosh,
I think she's going to be way more menacing than the Grand Inquisitor is.
Yeah, she looks scary. So I am excited.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, it's going to be neat to see a female bad guy.
Right. With that much power.
With that much power in this role.
Yeah.
Going after Kenobi. Like, it's cool. I'm excited.
Yeah, I think from what we saw in that snippet of the trailer, I think she's going to do a good job at that. So fingers crossed, because she looked to be doing a really good job of holding that role and holding that point. Because you also have to think about it. She is on screen with Obi-Wan flipping Kenobi. And that's huge. She's on screen with Ewan McGregor, who is a fantastic actor in his own legend. Right?
Yeah.
He has done such a good job of surpassing Star Wars, which is not always the case. Like, you can't always go from something like a big IP like Marvel or Harry Potter or Star Wars and be able, Lord of the Rings even, and still have a viable, varied career. And Ewan McGregor has done that.
Oh yeah, big time.
So I think they did a really good job of casting someone who could carry that weight of that role of someone who's on the same screen as Obi-Wan. Yeah.
So far, I mean, we haven't heard her voice. To be fair,
I think we did.
I don't think so.
I think so. Was she like yelling or something? Or that was the other Imperial lady?
I don't think we've heard any of them, other than
someone in there was like yelling orders. I think so.
Well, it wasn't quite the same effect.
It didn't stand out.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah.
But yeah, really excited for the show. I think it's going to be a good break, too, from all of the Mandalorian era stuff that we've been getting. Mandalorian has a lot of that inspiration from the original trilogy because it is following up the original trilogy.
Right.
But this is having the characters and some of the vibe of the prequels, as well as getting the flavor of the beginnings of the Empire and seeing the strength there. Something
that when I first watched the teaser, something that I really felt was this fear. Like, oh my gosh, is this going to be another Boba Fett? Like, it consumed me. I couldn't quite enjoy it.
Yeah, like, are they going to ruin this character like they did Boba Fett?
Yeah, so I'm a little bit hesitant to, and I'm trying not to get my hopes up because I don't think
Ewan McGregor would let them.
No, but I still can't get my hopes up because I'm so scared that something's going to happen.
I can't look at old footage of Boba Fett and think like, oh man, he's so cool, because he's not cool.
I know.
He's not cool anymore.
I know. I don't want them to ruin my childhood. Please don't.
Yeah. And like I will say, they didn't necessarily, like, ruin is a strong word to be used with Boba Fett, who didn't really have that much. They ruined my idea of what Boba Fett is. I will put it that way.
Yeah.
But I do have a strong emotional connection with Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot.
That would be a ruin if they mess up Obi-Wan.
Yeah. I really don't think they can. But I'm still concerned. I have my concerns.
Exactly. It's always in the back of your head too.
Yeah. And I can't necessarily pinpoint where those concerns are. I coming out of the Mandalorian and Boba Fett TV shows, it's just like, oh, this could be bad.
It could be.
It could be
There's
bad.
always the chance.
Yep.
If you're telling me there's a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pumped around the Obi-Wan Kenobi teaser. I am both excited and also scared that they'll show too much when they show us more, but I also want to see more. So there is always this battle between what I want and also what I want.
Yes, it's true though. It's like you want all of it, and then at the same time you want just this good story that
I want to know as little as possible, but I also want to know as much as possible.
Yeah, you want that balance.
Yeah,
that we haven't seen in a little while.
And I think they nailed it with the teaser. So hopefully that
I know. I really hope they don't show much else because I feel like it's almost too much already.
Just show a couple more scenes and all of those scenes that we've already gotten and put them in the different order.
Right.
And that I'd be fine with
Pretty
that.
much, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's it for this episode of the podcast. Thank you all so much for listening. If you'd like to support us, you can do so on Patreon. If you'd like to support us completely free, leave us a review and share this podcast with your friends. It helps us a ton, lets us reach new audiences, and gives us your feedback. Really, really appreciate that. We post podcast episodes every Sunday, so make sure that you are following or subscribed so you don't miss an episode and it automatically gets delivered to your podcast feed. Completely free. It's free to subscribe. It's free to follow. Don't have to worry about that. Just keeps you up to date. As always, thanks for listening, and may the Force be with you.